98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
I'm Adrian Kennedy, and that man there is Mr. Jeremy Dixon.
Yes. I'm good, thanks.
Very good. Very good.
You didn't ask me, but I'm grand.
I couldn't care less.
Have you ever noticed that? And every single one of us, we all do it, by the way.
Yep.
You ask somebody how they are and you don't hang around for the answer. It's an Irish thing, isn't it?
It is an Irishism, yeah.
Or do anybody else? Is it only Irish that do it?
How are you?
Yeah, I've met, so far today, I've met probably about 20 different people, yeah?
Yeah.
And every single one of those people have said to me, how are you, Jeremy? So they're asking how you are,
yeah,
but they never wait for the answer.
Are you hurt by that?
I mean, I could be having the crappiest day of my life,
yeah,
you know, but they don't hang around. Like you say it to me every day, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
And then you don't even wait for the answer.
Couldn't care
You're
less.
just gone. So one of these days when somebody asks me how I am, I'm actually going to tell them all my problems. I have a lot of problems at the moment that I'm not going to share with you, Adrian, but you just, even if you're feeling crap, you always say I'm okay, don't you?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Why is that?
Because you don't want to burden other people with your problems, really.
Is that the reason?
I mean, if you start spouting on about your problems, I'll just switch off. I will.
And so will the listeners, will they?
I'm being honest. Now, yesterday on the programme, we spoke about dangerous things that we did when we were younger, yeah?
Yes.
And I was speaking about... we were talking about the canal and swimming in the canal and all of that.
We were, yeah.
And I was talking about how as kids we used to walk along the railway tracks from Killiney to Dalkey and all of that, which I would not be recommending. But it kind of raises a thing, and I was reading an article in one of the newspapers by coincidence about the 10 dangerous things we used to let kids do. Yep.
Or not necessarily let kids do, but kids did them anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes.
And it got me to thinking about the sorts of things that we were allowed to do as kids that you wouldn't in a million years allow kids to do now.
Yes.
And I'll give you one example. And this only came to me earlier on, yeah?
Okay.
When I was a young fella of about maybe... would I have been 7 or 8?
Okay, so we're talking the 50s here, are we?
No, we're not. When I was 7 or 8,
okay,
I used to sit on my dad's lap or my uncle's lap and steer the car all the way from Ballybrack over to my grand's house in Dalkey.
Now, it's not too far of a run.
It's about 4 miles.
It's about 4 miles.
And it's fairly bad roads up through Killiney Village and all that.
Oh, sorry, are you talking, you sat on your father's lap for the entire journey?
Yeah.
What, steering the car and doing the gears?
Yeah, not doing the gears. He did the gears, but I steered the car all the way from...
Had you a seatbelt on?
I can't remember.
Have that,
I wouldn't think so, no.
Sorry, is Tony Kennedy listening to the show at the moment?
He may well be.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You were the worst father ever.
But... it's what we did. It's a dangerous... I mean, the thoughts of... if I saw that happening today, I'd ring the guards.
Ought to be all over Facebook.
Yeah, I would ring the guards with the person.
In fact, David Beckham, only last month, put up a video on his Instagram account that he had to take down. He put up a photograph of his daughter. What's his daughter's name?
I haven't a clue.
Okay.
Yeah. What about her?
He put up a video on his Instagram account of his daughter sitting on his lap, driving the car up and down their driveway. Unlike your house and my house, Adrian, the Beckhams actually have a driveway that you can drive up. That's how big their driveway is.
Fair enough.
Anyway, David Beckham uploaded this video of his daughter. I can't remember her name. She's sitting on his lap and she's driving the car up and down the driveway, and people went apeshit over it. Like literally went mad over it. Whereas, as Adrian was saying, in the 70s and the 80s, it was standard. Let the kids drive. Your father was probably tired. Let little Adrian drive.
Now, I didn't drive in that I couldn't even reach the pedals. I was only 7 or 8, yeah?
Yes.
But I would sit on my dad's lap and I would steer the car all the way from Ballybrack to Dalkey over to my grand's house.
Okay.
And now, I think it stands to me to this day because I'm fairly good at steering. It's one of my...
Why, is there anybody that's bad at steering?
My depth person... Yeah, there are.
You can't be bad at steering.
People who mount curbs and stuff like that.
Mountain.
Your woman here.
Oh, sorry, you're Katie. Yeah. Okay, she's bad at steering.
Yeah,
okay,
she
that's
is.
fair
So
enough.
there are people who are bad at steering. But anyway,
10 and 2.
I know
that's the key.
Anyway, that's one of the things that I did when I was a kid that you just would not allow a child to do today.
Yes.
And I would like you to call us on 6797 981. You can also text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. I want to compile a list of things. Well, I have a list of things, but I want to see, did you do any of them? These are things that you used to do as kids, but you wouldn't do today.
Now,
you wouldn't allow kids to do today.
I have one, and every single kid did it as a kid, and you wouldn't do it now. And that is cycle your bike without a helmet on. Now, my young fella's learning how to ride a bike at the moment. He still has the stabilisers on and all that. But we will not let him on a bike without his helmet on. Now, I never had a helmet when I was riding a bike as a kid. Did you? No. I don't think you could even buy a helmet.
I don't think there was even such a thing.
There wasn't such a thing.
Yeah.
And if you had gone up and down your road in your housing estate with like a motorcycle helmet on you, cycling your bike, you would have been bullied, wouldn't you? Perhaps, yeah.
Okay, so letting kids cycle on bikes without helmets. Text or WhatsApp us right now, 0877 98 98 98. Things that you may have done as a child that you would not allow children to do today. Okay.
So far we have sitting on the lap and driving.
Yeah, well, steering.
Steering.
Yeah.
And did you use the indicators and all that?
Yes, obviously, that was part of the skill.
Now, I have to say, back in the day, I assume when you grew up, the cars didn't have power steering, did they?
No, they didn't, no.
So it's like driving,
it was hard
a bloody
work.
tank. It's ridiculous.
But I used to love doing it. But you certainly wouldn't do it today. Not in a million years.
Our neighbours, the kid that we palled around with, his dad had a Hi-Ace van. He owned a Hi-Ace van. He did deliveries. And he used to let us all sit in the back of his Hi-Ace van. There was no seats in it, so it was just a big van.
Yep.
And he would take the van on handbrake turns around the housing estate. So we'd be in the back of the Hi-Ace van going...
Being thrown around.
And he'd be pulling handbrakers and we'd be literally swinging in the back of a Hi-Ace van. Now, you wouldn't even let a kid in a car or a van nowadays without having a seatbelt on, would you?
No, probably not.
Can you even buy Hi-Ace vans anymore?
I think so.
No, I think they're a thing of the past.
Are they?
Yeah. When was the last time you saw a Hi-Ace van on the road?
I can't say I ever look at vans, to be quite honest with you. No, anyway, text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Things that were acceptable back in the day for kids to do, but today are just not acceptable. Just not. Okay? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Now, I'll give you another couple of suggestions, yeah? Sending your child to the shop, yeah? Now, this is something that I used to do. Sending your child to the shop for cigarettes. You just would not do that today.
Was that a thing?
It was. My mother used to give me a note to go down to the shop and get her a packet of cigarettes. Now, you just wouldn't do that today.
What age were you?
Say that again?
What age were you?
Oh, under 10.
And were you allowed to buy cigarettes at 10 years of age?
You had a note from your mammy.
Oh, that made it okay.
Yeah,
then.
it did, yeah. Please.
So this is all new to me. So you would go down to the shop with a note from Betty, your mother.
Yeah.
You're 10.
Or less.
And you go into the newsagents.
Yeah.
Hiya, I'm Adrian, I'm 10 years of age and I have a letter from me ma. Can I have 20 cigarettes, please?
Yeah.
And they give them to you,
they give it to you no bother, yeah.
Really?
Not a bother, yeah.
How was that allowed?
It just was.
We lived in a lawless country, didn't we?
Did. So you just would not allow you wouldn't send your children to get cigarettes. Well, they wouldn't get them anyway. Yeah? Not in a million years would they get them. So keep your texts and WhatsApps coming in to 0877 98 98 98. In fact, something you wouldn't do now, unless the shop happens to be right next door to you, is you wouldn't send your kids to the shops.
No, you wouldn't.
You just wouldn't. My mother used to write us a big long note, and you'd go up to the shops and you'd get all the little odds and ends that she wanted, including cigarettes, and you just would not send children to the shop.
She'd hardly send you to buy the other things now, would she?
What are the things?
Women's products?
No.
Okay, so she had a bit of cop on.
Yeah, but like
she?
butter and whatever. But unless you live right next door to a shop, you would not send your kids to the shops.
I don't get this. Somebody just texted in and said, getting the lead out of car batteries and melting it. What's that all about? Now, maybe I had a very...
So this person pretended they couldn't hear Katie when Katie rang.
Oh, was it the old...
So sad.
Can't hear you.
Yeah.
How do you get the lead out of car batteries? And that seems extremely dangerous, doesn't it?
And
what's scuffing? If somebody can tell me what...
Scutting.
Oh, is that what he means?
Yeah,
what's scutting?
We did it on the show before.
Oh, is this where you hang on to the back of a moving vehicle?
Yep.
And did you do that as a kid?
Yep. The bread van and the milk van, yep. We used to hang on the back of them.
Yes, but the milk van only went about 5 kilometres an hour. Remember, they were electric.
Yep.
So you weren't going to kill yourself.
Okay, here's other things that are on this list. Keep the texts and WhatsApps coming in to 0877 98 98 98. Myself and my siblings used to sit in the boot with the boot open.
That actually sounds like great crack.
Down in at the beach in Wexford. You wouldn't do that nowadays. Here's another one that very rarely happens now, yeah?
Yes.
And it is bringing a child to the airport, popping them on an airplane on their own, and them being picked up at the other end by granny or granddad.
That never happened.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
No, it didn't.
It absolutely did.
Kids flying alone. I
Yeah.
don't think you're allowed to fly alone.
Not now, you're not. Not now, you're not. But you used to be able to, as long as an adult brought you to the plane and another adult collected you from the other end.
I'll have to confirm that.
Oh no, I'm telling you, it happened. Take my word for it.
I don't think it did.
It did happen. But
So 10-year-olds flying on their own.
Yep.
I'd be.
As long as an adult brought them to the plane and somebody collected them from the other end.
I'd be sceptical about that one, I have to say.
No, I'm telling you, it happened.
Yeah,
Take my word for it. Marius, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Marius? Hello, Marius.
Good. Yourself? How are you doing?
Good. Doing good. Now, Marius, what used you do as a child that you would never let a child do today?
Well, but when we was kiddos there, it was acceptable from 12 years old to have small motorcycles, like 50 cc's, 125. Let's say father used to allow me to drive down the streets and all.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up down to Lithuania.
In Lithuania. And
I didn't think it was Cabra now, Adrian, did you?
No, I didn't think it was Cabra, no. And in Lithuania, your dad, from kind of the age of 12, would let you ride on a small motorbike.
Yeah, wasn't any problem. Even, like in the schools, they used to teach you how to cycling and have little mopeds and all that stuff, so you could get even kind of fake license for them.
So
basically, police would close blind eye, won't see you,
So you were driving mopeds at the age of... Can I say that, Richard?
But you just did,
yeah. You were driving mopeds at the age of 12.
Yeah.
Wow. And the police would close a blind eye to what you were doing. They wouldn't pay any attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Isn't that mad? Now, would you get away with that in Lithuania today?
No, not a chance.
Not a chance. Okay, so kids aren't on mopeds in Lithuania anymore.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay,
Even
very good.
Small villages or something, you won't see anyone.
Now, here's another one, Marius, that's on this list.
Talking to Marius is like, remember the Eurovision Song Contest years ago, before we had high-speed connections? Remember, and they used to go, let's go to Lithuania for the results of the Eurovision poll. Hello, Lithuania. Remember?
As a matter of interest, Marius, are you actually in Lithuania right now?
5-second gap.
No, I'm in Ireland.
Oh, right. I'm just very curious as to why there's such a long delay on the phone line.
There's a massive delay.
Because when I say something to you, you don't react for about 10 seconds. Do you understand?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 seconds. Oh my God,
what is going on there?
It's unreal.
What mobile network are you with, Marius?
1, 2.
Air, actually.
Air. Right, well, Air have some mad delay on their phone line, and you're actually in Dublin right now, are you?
I am, yeah.
Whereabouts in Dublin are you?
I'm actually between the Finglas and Ballymun here.
Oh,
well,
right,
I have to be honest with you, Marius. I Skyped a mate of mine who's in Curacao at the moment. Have you ever heard of that place, Adrian, Curacao?
No, where is it?
It's near Venezuela.
Oh,
it's
right,
like as far away from Dublin as you could get.
Yeah.
And I Skyped him yesterday, and it was a clearer line than that.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks, Marius.
Thanks, Marius.
Good luck on the Muppets. It's amazing how lost in translation and how certain words obviously get lost in translation. Obviously, English isn't Marius's first language. We're not taking the mick out. We're not taking the mick out of him. But he believes that mopeds are called moppeds.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
They are.
Now, my own wife just texted me about things that we did as kids that you just wouldn't do today. Yeah?
Yes.
And she said you'd have a bath on a Saturday, and she was lucky being a girl. She was first, but then all the three brothers after her all got into the same water, which is what we did.
Really?
Yeah. And my sister would have been the same. She was the first in the bath. Then she'd hop out, and then we'd get in.
Well, Jesus, I was really poor. Then I had a bath in this kitchen sink.
Really?
Yeah, they used to wash me in the kitchen sink.
What, at 16?
Yes, that's it, with all the dirty dishes and stuff like that.
But anyway, yeah, we all used to have a bath in the same bath water. You just wouldn't do that today.
Did you grow up in the slums or something?
No. That's the way we did it.
Yeah, but that's not exactly dangerous. We're talking about dangerous things. I know, is it dangerous?
It's not very hygienic, in fairness, is it?
What are you saying about your sister?
Say again?
What are you saying about your sister? What's wrong with sharing a bath with your sister?
Well, she was in before me.
What, is she dirty or something?
No, but it's not really hygienic. A once-a-week bath that you share with like 3 people. Share the water with 3 people.
Sure, it's no different than getting into a jacuzzi. When you get into a jacuzzi, you're in there with 10 strangers.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, but the water's been filtered.
Doesn't matter.
Yvonne, you're on 98FM. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, how are you?
Now, Yvonne, what used you do as a child that children today just wouldn't do?
I used to go to the bookies for my mom and my grandma.
Really? So
Yeah. I'd put on a Yankee or a patent or whatever they wanted doing.
And they'd let you place bets. At what age were you?
Oh, I would have been, Jesus, donkeys years ago. I would have been probably 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. And down to the bookies, place a bet for your mammy and your granny. And it was just the done thing.
It was, yeah. And another thing I used to do was when I was a lot younger than that now, my granddad used to bring us on a flatbed lorry, with no sides on it.
Yes.
And we used to sit at the back. We weren't allowed to stand up now, but he'd bring us home on the flatbed lorry and there'd be a load of us on the back of it and you'd going over bumps and up you'd go in the air. It used to be brilliant.
Yeah,
myself and Adrian Yvonne had a debate about this last week about the pronunciation of that word, because for years I've called it a lurry, but Adrian was saying that it's actually a lorry.
It's a lorry.
Yeah.
I've always called it a lurry.
No. Where's the U in that? There isn't.
There's no U.
No. Thanks, Yvonne. Carol, you can also remember getting smokes for your dad.
I did, Adrian. I was listening to you there saying you got them for your mum.
Yeah.
And not only that, you used to get me to get him a bottle of baby pear.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were not only getting him cigarettes, but whiskey as well.
And whiskey.
It's mad when you think about it, isn't it?
And I would have been only around 10 or 11 as well at that time. I mean, you were served. There was no problem.
Yep, no problem at all. You got served, no problem at all. Yeah. No wonder lots of us ended up smoking because you were able to get
blame
them.
the shops, Adrian, on your habits.
But it was so easy to get. They were so easy to get.
Well, I didn't drink whiskey.
No.
And I do smoke.
Yeah,
but I didn't drink whiskey.
Yeah, because it was so easy for us to get them. That is something that you just wouldn't do with a kid now. Ask them to go.
No.
I mean, think about it, Jeremy. Yeah. Asking a child
a young fella
of 10, say, will you go to the shops and get me a naggin of whiskey and a packet of cigarettes? You just
probably be drank and smoked by the time they got home.
But just even the thought of doing that
different times,
yeah,
though,
different
wasn't it?
times. Thanks,
Carol. Quick question for you, because I'm just after seeing a message here. How do you feel about jacuzzis? Would you go into a jacuzzi?
Oh yeah, I've been in a few.
Really? Do you not
I have no problem. No. Jeremy, I haven't even thought about what you're talking about.
Well, you better think about it, Carol, because someone said jacuzzis are disgusting. It's like sharing a bath with 10 strangers. That's what I said. It's disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I love a jacuzzi.
As well, I can't go into jacuzzis. You know
Why?
that story? Let's
not go down that road.
Well, no, let's just say, Carol, jacuzzis are not for me, okay?
Yeah.
I had an experience in a jacuzzi about 5 years ago, Carol, okay?
Yeah. Do you want to share it?
Well, do you want to hear it?
Go on.
Okay, well, I was in a jacuzzi. Myself and my wife went away for a hotel mini break about 5 years ago, and in the hotel we had a jacuzzi, and I went into the jacuzzi, and as you know, in a jacuzzi, Carol, you get a lot of bubbles.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say this very carefully.
Yeah.
Anyway, the bubbles, Carol, did something for me.
The bubbles.
Oh, well, you're a man.
Yeah, I'm okay. We're on the right page here. So the bubbles had an effect on me, Carol, and I couldn't get out of the jacuzzi for about a half an hour until Mini Jeremy decided to go asleep. So there was 5 other people in the jacuzzi with me at the time, and I was terrified to stand up because.
Well, maybe they were the same.
Well, they were all women, Carol, which made the whole matter even worse.
Okay.
So I ended up,
And they're probably looking, what's your man staying in there for hours for?
It took a half an hour before little Jeremy would sit down. Now, I don't have that problem nowadays. I can't get him to stand up. But
good luck, Carol. Thanks very much.
That's a true story. I think I'm banned from the hotel now.
Gary!
Yeah?
How's it going?
I was talking earlier on about one thing that we don't do now is allow children to fly alone, and Jeremy said, "Oh no, that never happened."
I never knew it happened.
No, it did happen.
Every summer I used to do it. Every summer.
Go on, tell me what you used to do.
What we used to do was my dad was, obviously he's English, but he lives over here with us now, and my nanny was obviously living over in England, and every summer they used to bring me to the airport and let me go. Obviously somebody would be there to collect me, and he'd bring me through, and I'd be sitting on the plane on my own, and they used to bring me up to the cockpit and all.
Really? Yeah, which unfortunately is something that pilots can't do
no,
anymore.
No, they don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, because no plane has ever been hijacked by a 10-year-old.
No.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Or has it?
Not that I know of, anyway.
The odd time when the plane is still on the ground, they will allow you to go in and have a look. The odd
It's
time.
not the same.
But it's not the same as when it's actually flying.
Okay, I stand corrected.
When you first go on, like, they'll bring you up and they'll go in and the captain will be there and he'll show you all the buttons and everything. It was brilliant to us, like, yeah.
But yes, you did fly alone as a kid.
Oh yeah, every summer I used to go over there for the 2 or 3 months, and I'd stay over there with my nanny, like, for the whole summer, like.
Jeez, that sounds terrifying. A child flying on the road.
I think it's quite exciting, actually, but it's something we don't allow anymore. We were talking about how I used to sit in my dad's lap. Peter.
Hello.
You only had your stepson on your lap yesterday steering your truck.
Yeah, the same truck that Jeremy was giving out about going into the car park when he was giving away the selection boxes on the north side.
Oh yes, this is at Christmas time. We were giving away the selection boxes on 98FM, and somebody decided to arrive to pick up a selection box in an Arctic.
And that was you?
No, that was me, yeah.
Now, where did you do this driving with your stepson sitting on your lap?
I picked him up at the house, and we just drove down the little old back road there at the back of the house down the country, and he just drove down there steering, like, so.
And how old is he?
He's 9.
He's 9?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if the guard saw you, you'd be in big trouble, but...
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, but you still did it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's on the back road, like, you know, you can see for miles, like, what's coming. Well, not for miles, but you can see what's coming, like, so.
Yeah.
I can hear the snowflakes and the PC brigade now screaming.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But anyway, I've seen worse, so, you know.
Listen, we all survived as kids.
We did. Yeah. And just very quickly, Dreeton.
Yes.
When you were younger, what happened that you don't do anymore?
So basically during my time was 98 until 2002. The teacher used to smack us.
Indeed they did.
They did, and for now they have stopped for the last 10, 15 years now.
Yeah, no, it's longer than that, I think, since corporal punishment was done away with.
It's interesting that he brings up the subject of corporal punishment, because we have a story for you in a second, which I believe is a direct correlation to no more corporal punishment in schools. Finally, Kerry, what did you do as a child that you wouldn't allow anymore?
When I was about 11 or 12, I started babysitting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't big kids, they were babies.
And I have to say, I did as well. For one of my uncles, and I would have been only maybe 12 or 13, and they were small babies. You just wouldn't do that today. She wouldn't.
Yeah. I have an 11-year-old that I wouldn't even dream of leaving her with a baby.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even let Adrian's a grown man. I wouldn't let him mind my child now at this stage.
Are you somebody who can't swim?
Yeah, we've an interesting story for you about something that happened yesterday and how important it is for adults to learn how to swim.
If you're an adult who can't swim, call us on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. Now, you were mentioning just a moment ago about this story.
I was mentioning about corporal punishment. Yeah.
Here's a headline. Horror as cygnets killed by group of thugs along the Royal Canal only hours after being born to a pair of swans. Just listen to that for a second. Something needs to happen before more wildlife gets killed or someone drowns because these people who don't care about their actions. Now, this is a really sad story. A resident living along the Royal Canal in North Dublin has shared their horror at the conditions along the route after a number of baby cygnets, which are little baby swans, were killed by a group of thugs. 8 cygnets were born to a pair of swans just under a month ago, and within 24 hours of being born, 4 of them were killed by a group of teenagers. Now, this just... They say people who can do stuff like that end up as serial killers.
Yeah, they don't all end up with sin.
No, but okay, serial killers started their life doing shit like this. This really annoys me. The resident who frequents the strip between Phibsborough and Dorset Street on a daily basis, which is the strip down beside the prison, also said that life-saving equipment along the canal is destroyed and illegal dumping is rampant. And this person put up photographs, and it's a stretch of the canal I hate, actually. Anytime I'm walking down the Whitworth Road, I won't walk along the canal side. I'll walk along the Whitworth Road itself.
It's very antisocial.
It is. Only 3 weeks ago, says this resident, a pair of swans hatched 8 gorgeous cygnets. On that same day, when they were literally fresh out of the egg, a gang of boys who hang around that strip of canal aged about 14 killed 4 of these babies.
Jesus.
A neighbour showed me a photo of the aftermath and told me she heard the mother swan going crazy.
I'd imagine so.
I'm utterly heartbroken by this. Now, it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's only kind of come to light now. That is just vile. It is vile. It's disgusting. And as you said yourself...
there's a couple of issues here. A lot of people will deny this, and I'm not saying all teenagers are like this. But over the last 20 years, there's been a complete breakdown of discipline among children. Now, I know this always happened, but when you hear of a group of teenagers killing baby swans that have just hatched from their eggs along the canal, you have to ask yourself, okay, first of all, what is going on in these little tow rags' heads? Yeah, the same type of tow rags that were deliberately lighting fires in Finglas a couple of weeks ago, that were throwing matches into bushes to set fire in their own estate. Although they don't do it in their own estate.
No, they do it elsewhere.
You know, they don't, because even though they're scumbags, they still know not to pee on their own doorstep. But I firmly believe, and nobody will convince me otherwise, okay? And I don't think we should go back to the days where caning took place. When I went to school, I went to a Christian Brother school, I was caned. I was rapped on the back of the head with sets of keys. You know, I was walloped out of it. Did it do me any harm? No, it didn't do me any harm. But I think what we have now is a situation where we have a complete breakdown of discipline. We have teenagers growing up who have absolutely no respect for the law.
Some of them, not all.
Some of them. Case in point. And if you have young kids, because I want to tell you this story, but it contains one bad word. Well, it's not a very bad word. But if you have young ears there, put your hands over their ears, because I want to tell you, only about 2 weeks ago on the loose, I was sitting on the loose. It was on the Green Line, sitting on the loose, and sitting opposite me were 2 young fellas, 2 heads. You know the typical tracksuits, the fringe down. They were about 12 years of age. And I happened to be looking at the 2 of them, wasn't staring at them, and one of them turned around. Picture this, a 12-year-old on the loose, turned around to me, a grown man, and here's exactly what he said. What are you looking at, you wanker? 12 years of age. Why is that happening? Why is it... when I was 12 years of age, I would have been terrified to speak to an adult like that. Yet this 12-year-old on the loose felt that it was appropriate and it was okay for him to turn around and call me that name, a grown man. I didn't know what to say to him.
No, so, I agree. Now, here's the thing. Not all teenagers behave in that way. And I hate to hear all teenagers being branded.
But nobody ever says all teenagers. Nobody's ever said that.
People do. Teenagers don't behave the way they used to and all of that. Some don't. But certainly not all. There are some very good young teenagers who behave themselves.
I guarantee you that 12-year-old who called me the W word on the loose, I guarantee you that if you go to his school and you speak to his teacher will tell you that he's a little pup in school. And I guarantee you that if you go to that 12-year-old's house and knock on the parents' door, the parents are dragged up scumbags themselves. Because I'm sorry, if your child is calling adults those particular names at 12 years of age, you have failed as a parent.
Anyway, that story about the cygnets, I mean, listen, just looking at some of the texts, I am so upset listening to that. That is effing vile. These are 4 baby swans killed. They were only hours out of the egg. They were probably just sitting in the nest, and these scumbags decided to kill them.
That's what you have, feral children. And I know you don't like that word being used, Adrian, but they are feral. They're dragged up on the street. They have no moral compass. And they have no positive male or female person in their life that can teach them right from wrong, and that is the result of it. And that 12-year-old, that called me that word that was more or less squaring up to me on the loose, he'll grow up to be a scumbag, and his kids will do the exact same thing. It's a vicious circle.
Tell me your story about what happened yesterday whilst in the National Aquatic Centre.
Yes, this is on a lighter note. Maybe it's not a lighter note, but if you cannot swim and you're an adult, now I know we're going to be talking to Noel in a second, but if you can't swim and you're an adult, listen to this story very carefully, because I want you to change your life. I want something positive to come out of this. I had the young fella out at the National Aquatic Centre yesterday.
Lovely.
It's a great out spot, the NAC. And I had him in the pool beside the pirate ship, which most of you will be aware of. And there were two kids playing in the water. And standing at the side of the swimming pool in her clothes with those blue things over her shoes that you have to wear in pools was her mother. And she was standing there looking at her kids playing in the water. And I got talking to her, and we got chatting, and I said to her, do you mind me? We got chatting, and I said, do you mind me asking why you're not in swimming with your kids? They're having great fun, and it looks as though you're not happy that you're not in with them. And she says, I'll be honest with you, I'm 38 years of age, and I can't swim. I've never learned to swim. And it breaks my heart, she said, that every time we go on holidays or we go out to the NAC, I have to stand there from the sidelines and watch them enjoying themselves, and I can't get into the swimming pool. And I said, why can't you swim? I am terrified of water. So we ended up talking for about 15, 20 minutes, and I explained to her that up until 10 years ago, I couldn't swim. And one of the biggest regrets I have in my life is that I only learned to swim in latter years. I missed out on so much fun with friends.
In fact, when I first met you, we went on a holiday, and you just stood in the swimming pool,
hanging on to the bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, the upshot of that conversation I had with that mother was, she told me, I don't know how true this is, and if you're listening, Alison is her name. If you're listening, she said she was going to listen to the show today. Alison promised me that after our conversation yesterday, she was going to go and get swimming lessons. Of course, she has the whole thing that most adults have. She's embarrassed about it. She's embarrassed about seeking swimming lessons because she's a grown woman.
Okay, now you did swimming lessons as an adult. Were you swimming with 5-year-olds, or were you swimming with other adults?
Swimming on my own.
Swimming on your own?
Swimming on my own.
Right.
I booked my swimming lessons at a time where there was no one else in the swimming pool because I was embarrassed.
Right.
It is something to be embarrassed about if you're an adult and you can't swim.
And how long did it take?
By lesson 4, I was swimming underwater.
Really?
Yeah. And this is somebody, Adrian will tell you, this is somebody I was petrified of water. But I missed out on so much. And the catalyst for me in learning to swim was I was away on holidays with my missus, and she was going out on a jet ski on holidays, having great fun, and she was going up on those paragliders, is what they called, going off the back of a boat. I couldn't do any of that. We went to water parks. I had to stay at the side because I was terrified of going in the slides. I do all of that now. I snorkel, I dive, I go off boats and parachutes. If I can do it, any single one of you can do it. Trust me when I say that. It's so important, and it could save your life as well.
Okay, are you somebody who can't swim? I'd love to hear from you. Call Katie right now on 6797 981. 6797 981. If you're somebody who cannot swim, we'd love to hear from you. Because I want to find out what you miss out on by not being able to swim.
Everything.
Yeah,
like that girl Alison yesterday, standing there regretting, and that's what she had in her eyes. She had regret in her eyes because her two beautiful children were jumping up and down in the water, enjoying themselves, and she had to stand on the sidelines.
Looking on at them. Yeah, it is sad actually. I never remember a time that I couldn't swim. I learned to swim when I was very young, and I wouldn't be a brilliant swimmer, but I can swim.
We're not looking for Lance Armstrong.
No, I know that. Yeah, but I can't swim, and I'm confident enough in the water.
Yeah, but just that you can keep yourself above the water. That's all you're looking for.
Noel, you can't swim.
Oh yeah, Adrian, Jeremy. No, I told you I had a bad experience as a kid doing PE, and I was literally thrown in. We were down to swimming.
Right.
Just tugged through me in, and I went under. And
that terrified the bejesus out of you.
I'm 56 now. I love me fishing. And
Right.
I was nearly washed off. Appeared in Bray. I was out fishing in Bray, and a wave came in at the back.
Oh my God.
Literally dragged me down the path, and I had went over. I was done because
Wow.
See,
Right.
no, a lot of it, and I nearly drowned in Osney years ago, or Butlins as it was called. I nearly drowned as a kid as well, and that put me off.
And is that what scared you?
Well, it was that, and assholes like Noel's talking about that throw you. There was young fellas in my local pool when I was growing up as well, Noel, that thought it was hilarious because I couldn't swim to throw me in at the deep end, and that absolutely terrifies you. But no, and I don't want to sound condescending saying this, but it's never too late.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's never too late.
Do you ever see a time where you could swim?
I tell you now, I used to go to Mosney. I've been down there, looking at them down underwater now. And I'm saying to myself, I'd love to do that.
So you do think you missed out on an awful lot?
Indeed. I've been on boat trips and all that. We were caught up in Liverpool, Adrian, going to Liverpool in a tornado once in a fucking boat.
Oh, God.
Down, and I was torn, like, if that happened to me.
Well, now, in fairness, if anything happened in something like that...
Swimming isn't going to help you, sure it's not.
All of us would be gone.
That's what put the fear into me. Like that. I literally hit my head off the bottom. It took them lifeguards to do what they had to do.
But Jeremy, you as a kid were...
exact same thing.
Same thing,
exact same. And if I overcame the fear, honestly, no, when I tell you I was petrified, if I can overcome the fear, you can. And it's never too late. Don't let it go another day. Like, after we finish this conversation, go online, find out where your local swimming pool is, find out how much the lessons are. They're normally quite cheap. And I can tell you, Noel, by lesson 5, the scariest part about learning to swim is putting your head under the water. Okay, nobody likes putting their head under the water. It's not a nice feeling. They teach you all about breathing, Adrian. It's called 10 bubbles.
Yeah.
Where you breathe in, go under the water, breathe out through your nose. You do that 10 times.
You're grand.
You're not grand now, but...
okay, so Noel, maybe think about it. And where did you go for your lessons? Where did you have your lessons?
My local swimming pool.
Right.
And the fellow who taught me how to swim is now one of my best friends. And I regularly tell him that he's changed my life because he actually has.
Well, Noel, what age did Noel say he was? 54?
Yeah.
Thomas, you're 56 and you only learned to swim 2 years ago.
I learned to swim 2 years ago.
Well, fair play to you,
firstly.
Well
done. It's
well
brilliant.
done.
And like sorry, go on.
Yeah, like that, go on.
Like that chap there, I like me fishing too. I do deep sea fishing and all.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go into the swim pool with the kids and all, and I just stand at the side. But just one day, I'm trying to get rid of weight and that, walking, and I got into the swimming pool. And I more or less let myself, but I had friends there, men, women, tell me what to do.
Very good, very good. Well, fair play to you because...
Yeah, well, not a great swimmer, but I can swim. I'm just on my way into the swimming pool now.
That's what I said as well. I'm not a great swimmer, but I can swim. I'm confident enough in the water. I can...
Yeah,
you
learn bit by bit.
Yeah.
No, I'll never be... When we went on holidays last year, Thomas, we took a boat. We were on the Costa del Sol and we took a boat out into the middle of the sea. And my wife was diving in off the boat and she said, come on, dive in, you can swim. And I said, no, I can swim and I'm a great swimmer, but I'm not at that point where I can be diving off boats into the middle of the sea now.
Oh, really?
Why? Do you like
that?
that?
That's brilliant.
Really?
Oh, I love doing that, yeah.
Well, you can't see... I need to be able to see the bottom. Do you not need to be able to see...
No.
Really?
That's the whole attraction of the sea.
What?
That's the fun of the sea.
You know, by the way, on a completely separate issue, a psychic once told Adrian that he died on the Titanic.
That's
right. Is that true? That's actually true. Adrian went and got a psychic...
In a past life, I supposedly drowned on the Titanic. Yeah. I don't really remember it.
It was a past life.
Well, they say 70% of fishermen can't swim.
Do they?
But they don't need to. Yeah. They don't need to jump in and catch the fish, do they?
No, but anyway, I was told I died in a past life on the Titanic, which is amazing because I've been on a cruise and I loved it. Yeah. So, how did that work?
And you were in steerage class, weren't you? She
told
us,
you were in third class.
You're in third, which would make sense. If you're going to be any class on a ship, it's going to be third class.
But I'm not scared of being on a boat.
Are you afraid of icebergs?
I haven't seen one lately.
Okay, but
maybe I am.
Say those HB ice creams, the iceburgers. When you see them, do you get
I get the shakes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was you. That was you.
A couple more calls. Mandy, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Mandy. Now, Mandy, you're 54. You can't swim. You've just heard Thomas, who only learned to swim when he was 54. Is it not something you would think about?
Every year, myself and my friends say we're going to learn to swim. And
your friend can't swim either?
No, she can't swim either, and I just cannot bring myself to get into a swimming pool to learn to swim. I am just terrified of water.
Thomas, were you terrified of water?
No, I was. Well, I was afraid I drowned, but I just started going to the swim pool. Now, I started off in the You're going to last the 3 foot.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the only person there. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only person there. There's people my age there all the time. Oh, yes, you go in there one day every morning I can. And there's an awful lot of elderly people, and some of them can't swim either. But they meet up in the mornings, even if it's just for a chat or something, I'll learn, see what's going on. So it passes time too for people.
Okay, but you were able to do it. Mandy, would you ever think of trying to do it?
As I said, every year myself and my friends sit down and go, we're going to do it this year. We're going to do it this year.
Oh, Mandy, you sound exactly like me. This was me. I put it off, and I'm what's that called? Someone who always puts things on the long finger.
Procrastinator.
Oh, yeah, I'm a procrastinator, Mandy, and year after year after year, I'm going to do it this year, I'm going to do it next year. You have to bite the bullet. You have to decide now is the time.
And you've just heard a man your age who only learned to swim 2 years ago. It can be done, and I hope you do. Let me just... Sorry, Tracy, we were talking about what you miss out on not being able to swim. You bring your son swimming, but you hate the fact that you can't swim.
Yeah, I do,
exactly like that lady Jeremy met yesterday.
Yeah.
And what's...
I got into the swimming pool. I went up to the swimming pool there in Kilmine there 2 weeks ago, and I got into the pool. I just paddle around, I could hold on to the side.
Yeah.
But my son just wanted me to play with him in the swimming pool, you know, when he tried to grab me legs and whatever. But it was great fun for him. But unfortunately, I can't swim, so it does get to me that I can't. But it's like a fear of water as well, going under the water.
Yeah.
I can't.
But would you not do it? Well, in fact, stay there for 1 second, because my last call on this is somebody who's a former lifeguard and a swimming instructor. Lynn, here's Tracy on the line here. Brings her son swimming, hates the fact that she can't swim. It is possible even if you are afraid of water, is it, Lynn?
Oh, you have to get lessons, Tracy. Get on it now. It's never too late, but you have to do it.
And is there any...
It's more the fear that puts me off.
But that's what an instructor will help you with.
And get a couple of one-to-one lessons. Don't go into a group.
No, you need one-to-one, yeah.
Absolutely. And a few of those, like Jeremy said, after about 4 or 5 lessons, you'll not look back.
And you see, the thing is, Tracy, the fear you have, okay, Tracy?
Yeah.
The fear you have... The reason you have that fear, and the reason I had that fear, is because you can't swim and you're afraid of what will happen to you in the water. But once you can swim, geez, I sound like Dr. Phil here, but once you can swim, that fear then goes because you control yourself in the water. When I fall into water now, I can float, I can save myself, so I'm no longer afraid of the water. So do you get the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah.
Is this falling on deaf ears, Tracy? You going to do anything about this?
No,
you have to do something.
No, I only asked my friend there, a friend of mine, I asked her there a while ago, I'd say months ago, to go for adult swimming lessons, and she was saying, put in for it and whatever, but we just never got around to doing it.
Well, will you make a promise to us that you will do it?
I will, because I want to be able to get in the pool with my son.
Tracy,
he's great, he's 8 years of age, and he's great in the pool.
Tracy, there's nothing better. I was in the National Aquatic yesterday, as I said, with my 4-year-old, who's learning to swim at the moment. And to be going around the lazy river in the National Aquatic Centre with him and being able to actually play with your child in the water, it's one of the nicer things.
All right, best of luck to you, Tracy. And Lynn, thanks very much indeed for your call.
If one person, Adrian, from today's show learns how to swim, job done.
Exactly. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
98FM, the sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks, weekdays from 10 a.m.
with Adrian Kennedy.